The human transport ship drifted in silence through the dark of space. Its engines were weak, its weapons already destroyed. The crew had fought hard, but now the battle was over. Alien warships surrounded them like hunters circling prey. Inside, alarms screamed. Sparks fell from broken wires. Smoke filled the narrow corridors. The humans had tried to resist, but the enemy was stronger, faster, and prepared. Now only fear and defeat remained. In the center of the wrecked ship stood a young, dull woman. She wore a medic's uniform, simple and clean compared to the dirt and blood of others. Her hair was tied back, her face calm, almost too calm for someone who had just lost everything. The crew whispered that she was only a medic, just one more helpless human waiting for capture. Then the alien boarding party arrived. Their metal boots struck the floor in rhythm, echoing like drums of war. They were tall, armored, and armed with glowing weapons. Their leader, a scarred officer with sharp eyes, scanned the survivors with disgust. Pathetic, he growled in his own language. Humans always resist, but they always break. The aliens shoved the humans aside, searching for anyone of value: pilots, engineers, soldiers. Then they saw her, standing quietly with her hands folded. The officer stepped closer, studying her with suspicion. "You," he barked. "What is your role?" The woman looked at him. Her voice was soft, calm. "I am a medic. I heal the wounded." The alien soldiers laughed. Medic was useless to them. No weapons knowledge, no command. Codes, no threat. She was the weakest of all. "Take her," the officer ordered. "Maybe we can use her as leverage. The rest are nothing." Chains were locked around her wrists. She did not resist. Her eyes never showed fear. Instead, there was something else, something cold. Like a quiet storm hidden behind calm skies, as the aliens dragged her through the ruined corridors, the surviving humans lowered their heads. Some whispered in sorrow, believing she was lost. But a few noticed her silence. They saw the strange calm in her face. Why was she not afraid? Why did she almost look like she was waiting? The alien ship was massive compared to the small human vessel. When they brought her aboard, she saw long metal halls lined with lights and guards at every door. This was a warship, the pride of their fleet. She walked quietly, observing everything: the guards, the security doors, the blinking panels on the walls. Her eyes studied every detail as if she was not a prisoner but an inspector. The officer shoved her forward. "Do not look around, human. You are nothing here." Still, she remained calm. She walked with steady steps. No panic, no begging. The aliens mocked her for her silence. "She thinks she is brave," one sneered. "Bravery is useless without power," another said. They locked her inside a small interrogation room. Cold metal walls surrounded her. Single light shone above, leaving shadows at the corners. The chair was heavy, made to keep prisoners in place. They strapped her down and left 2 guards at the door. Alone, she lowered her head and closed her eyes. For a moment, she seemed weak, just another defeated prisoner. But inside her mind, gears were turning. She was not broken. She was not afraid. She was calculating. On the alien bridge, the officer reported his capture. "We found nothing useful, only a medic." The commander of the warship leaned forward. His voice was sharp. "And why bring her? She might have information," the officer replied. "Or perhaps she can be bait." The commander grunted. "So be it. You'll interrogate her later. For now, lock down all systems. I want no mistakes." But mistakes were already happening. Strange flickers passed across the ship's lights. Doors hissed and locked without command. Security cameras glitched for seconds at a time. The crew thought it was nothing, just a system overload from battle. None of them suspected the truth. Back in the interrogation room, the woman opened her eyes. A faint smile touched her lips. The aliens believed she was weak. They thought she was just a medic, but she was watching. She was waiting. And she was already inside their ship in ways they could not imagine. The guards outside shifted nervously. Something about this prisoner felt wrong. Why did she not cry? Why did she not beg? Most humans begged within minutes. But this one was different. The officer returned to check on her. He leaned close, sneering. Do you understand, human? You are ours now. You are captured. Your people cannot save you. Her calm eyes met his. She did not speak. But deep inside, she already knew the truth. He was wrong, because she was not the one who had been captured. They were. The alien warship was quiet in the hours after the capture. Only the hum of engines echoed through its endless metal corridors. But deep inside the vessel, behind thick steel doors, one human sat alone. The woman, the medic, the prisoner she was. Chained to a cold chair in the center of the interrogation chamber. The walls were smooth, polished metal that reflected the harsh white light above. Every sound in the room echoed her breathing, the faint clink of the chains, the slow footsteps. Of the guards, the aliens had taken everything from her, her tools, her clothes, her freedom. Yet they could not take away her silence. She sat calmly, her eyes half closed, as if this was not a cell but a waiting room. When the door hissed open, the interrogator entered. He was taller than the others, his armor black instead of silver. His face was covered with scars and his eyes were sharp, cold, and full of cruelty. Human, he said slowly, his voice like grinding stone. You will answer my questions. She lifted her head, meeting his gaze without fear. The alien slammed a hand on the table between them. Do not test me. I will break you. Everyone breaks. Still, she said nothing. The interrogator circled around her chair like a predator circling prey. He listed demands in a harsh tone. Earth's defense codes, fleet locations, command structures. Every word was a threat, every silence an insult. But she did not resist with anger or defiance. She resisted with stillness. Minutes passed. The alien grew frustrated. He leaned closer until his face was inches from hers. Why are you calm? Your ship is destroyed. Your crew is dead. You are alone. Do you not understand what that means? Her voice, when it came, was soft but steady. Alone does not mean defeated. The interrogator froze for a second, then laughed. A cruel, humorless laugh that echoed through the chamber. You think you are strong? Or nothing but a fragile creature of flesh? One spark of our weapons burns your cities. One strike of our ships shatters your worlds. Humanity is weak. Her eyes stayed locked on him. There was no anger in them. Only patience. Maybe, she whispered. Maybe that is what you believe. The alien sneered, but something about her tone unsettled him. It was not the voice of a prisoner. It was the voice of someone waiting, someone certain. Suddenly the lights flickered. For a moment the chamber went dark, then bright again. The interrogator growled in irritation. Systems are unstable. Ignore it. But the woman tilted her head slightly, like she heard something others could not. A faint smile touched her lips. The interrogator slammed the table again. What do you know? Speak. She only closed her eyes. Do you feel it? She asked softly. The alien commander frowned. Feel what? Her smile widened a fraction. The ship, it is listening. The guards outside the door shifted nervously. They whispered to each other in low voices. The prisoner was strange, too calm, too sure. They remembered stories, the humans who fought until death, the humans who defied impossible odds. Humans are dangerous, some soldiers said. Not because of their weapons, but because of their will. The interrogator forced her chin up, his claws digging into her skin. You are a liar. You are a medic. You are nothing. But in that exact moment, alarms blared through the warship. Red lights flashed in the halls. Doors sealed themselves shut without command. Security panels sparked and died. The guards jumped to attention, shouting into their coms. Systems are failing. Engineering reports. Sabotage. The interrogator released her and stormed toward the door. This is impossible. No one could. Then he stopped. He turned slowly back to her. The human woman sat in chains, smiling. Faintly, her calm eyes glowing with quiet power. Her voice was steady, almost whispering, yet it carried through the chamber like thunder. You still do not understand. You think I am the one captured here? The interrogator's chest tightened. His instincts screamed that something was wrong, deeply wrong. The alarms grew louder. The ship shook. somewhere deep within its systems. Invisible hands pulled strings, cutting power, locking weapons, silencing defenses, and the woman, the medic, only sat there as if every sound, every alarm, was part of her plan. The interrogator felt fear for the first time, because maybe, just maybe, this human was not who she seemed. The warship's heartbeat was wrong, engines still hummed, weapons still glowed, but small things had started to fail, too small for the alien crew to understand at first. A light flickered here, a door refused to open there, the crew shouted. At engineers, blaming weak circuits, blaming the damage from battle. But no one dared to say the truth. Something was inside the ship and she knew it. The prisoner sat in her interrogation chair, wrists bound with metal cuffs. Her head was bowed, as if in silence. But her eyes shifted now and then, following the rhythm of the alarms. The flicker of the lights. Every blink of the system was like a heartbeat to her. Every glitch was like a whisper in her ear. Ship thought it had captured her. In truth, she had found the doorway she needed. In the command bridge, officers shouted over one another. Lock the bulkheads. Why did the reactor drop power? The targeting system just reset itself. Their commander slammed a fist on the control panel. Sabotage. Someone from the human ship must have hacked us. But no one had touched. Their consoles. No one had access. Except the prisoner. The interrogator returned to her chamber, furious. He stormed inside, claws scraping against the metal walls. His voice shook with anger. What have you done, human? She raised her head slowly. The calm in her eyes was sharper now, like the edge of a blade. I did nothing, she said softly. Your ship is simply listening. The interrogator growled and slammed the table. Oh, do not play games with me. But even as he shouted, the room lights dimmed, then brightened, then dimmed again. The two guards shifted nervously, their weapons shaking in their hands. Sir, one whispered, this feels wrong. The ship. It feels alive. The interrogator silenced him with a glare, yet even he could not deny it. The air felt heavier. The silence between alarms felt stretched, unnatural, and through it all, the human sat calmly, her chains rattling softly as she leaned forward. You think you captured me? She whispered. But every step you take, every system you trust, belongs to me now. The guards stiffened. They wanted to laugh, to mock her, but the words hit too close to the truth. Already the door behind them hissed and locked itself. Their devices crackled with static. Sir, the other guard said with a trembling voice, we just lost signal to the bridge. The interrogator's blood ran cold. The prisoner tilted her head, her faint smile returning. Do you feel it? She asked. Your ship is not yours anymore. It's mine. One of the guards panicked and aimed his weapon at her. She's lying. She's just a human. But before he could fire, the weapon clicked uselessly. Dead power drained. The lights in the room flickered again, and for the first time, the aliens felt trapped in their own ship. The interrogator stepped closer, gripping the back of her chair. His voice was lower now, almost unsure. What are you? Her answer was simple, prepared. The alarms outside grew louder. Deep in the ship, airlocks opened with a hiss. Cries echoed through the halls as crew members scrambled to control the chaos. But nothing responded to their commands. The woman sat calmly in her chair. Chains still locked, yet it felt as if she was the one commanding everything. The guards stared at her, fear growing in their eyes. This was not weakness. This was not a simple medic. She was something else, something dangerous. The interrogator turned to leave, but the door refused to open. He slammed his fist on the panel. No response. The door lights blinked red. He spun back toward her. What have you done? She met his gaze with steady eyes. I didn't come here to escape, she said. I came here to take control. The words sank like a knife into the silence. The guards exchanged nervous glances. The prisoner was chained, unarmed, surrounded. Yet it felt like she was the predator, and they were the ones cornered. The ship's lights dimmed once more. A single red glow filled the chamber. And in that shadow, the woman's eyes looked brighter. sharper like the eyes of someone who had been waiting for this moment all along. The interrogator's hands trembled as he realized the truth. She was not their prisoner. The ship was hers. The alien warship was in chaos. Across its endless corridors, doors sealed without warning. Alarms screamed and then cut off into silence. Weapons went dead in soldiers' hands. Lights flickered like nervous eyes. No one could explain it. No one could stop it, but she could. In the interrogation chamber, the woman sat chained, her face calm under the red glow. The interrogator paced the room like a beast in a cage, his voice sharp with anger but edged with fear. "This is impossible," he hissed. "No human can do this. Tell me what you are." Her eyes lifted to meet his. This time, there was no softness in them, only steel. "You want to know?" she said quietly. The guards shifted uncomfortably. The silence between each word pressed down like heavy air. She leaned forward in her chair, the chains clinking softly. "You think I am a medic, a nobody, a weak piece of flesh? But the truth." She let the words hang like a knife above their heads. "The truth is, I am the reason your ship is dying." The interrogator froze. His claws tapped against the table, trying to hide the tremor in his hands. "You lie." She tilted her head, almost pitying him. "Do I?" As if to answer her. The room's lights cut out completely. Darkness swallowed everything. For a moment, only silence remained. Then a single sharp beam of red light lit her face, as though the ship itself was listening to her command. The guards gasped. Their weapons vibrated in their hands, then fell apart with a hiss of broken circuits. Sparks danced across the floor. Like restless fire, the interrogator roared and slammed the wall controls. Engineering, report, bridge, answer, static, nothing. The woman's voice slid into the silence, steady and cold. "You never captured me. You delivered me." The interrogator spun toward her. "Delivered you? To what?" "To your heart." She answered, "This ship, your pride, your strength, and now," her lips curled into a smile, "your weakness." The walls shuddered. Panels cracked. The floor vibrated under their feet as if the ship itself had turned against its masters. The guards backed toward the door, panic on their faces. One whispered, "She is inside the system. She is the system." The interrogator refused to step. Back. He slammed his claws against the table and leaned close to her face. "You are still chained. You are still flesh, Ko. You cannot win." Her gaze did not break. Her voice dropped to a whisper, but it carried like thunder. "I am not just flesh. I am command." The chains on her wrists clicked. One by one, the locks released, not by alien hands, but by the ship itself. The cuffs fell to the floor with a heavy clang. The guards raised what weapons they had left. But the floor beneath them split open with a violent hiss. The panels swallowed their rifles into darkness. Their screams echoed as sparks exploded around them. She stood. For the first time, the aliens saw her fully, not as a prisoner, not as a medic, but as something else. She stood tall, her shadow stretching across the trembling chamber. Her presence filled the room, larger than her body, larger than her chains. The interrogator stepped back without meaning to. His voice shook. "You? Who are you?" Her answer was sharp, final, undeniable. "I am commander of the human fleet, and you made the mistake of bringing me here." The ship groaned, as if agreeing with her words. Lights pulsed in rhythm. To her heartbeat, doors hissed open, then slammed shut. The alien warship trembled under her command. On the bridge, officers shouted desperately. Controls unresponsive. Navigation locked. "She's overriding everything." One soldier whispered in horror, "She's not a prisoner. She's the executioner." Back in the chamber, the interrogator's knees weakened. For the first time in his long, cruel career, he felt fear not of weapons, not of armies, but of one human who stood unbroken. She took a step forward, the ground humming beneath her feet. "You thought I was weak. You thought I was captured." She leaned closer, her eyes burning with quiet fire. But the truth is simple. This ship is mine now, and you are the ones in chains. The alien warship screamed, not with voices, but with metal. Bulkheads groaned, alarms wailed, then cut off in silence. Lights strobed red as if the ship itself had gone mad. On the bridge, alien officers clawed at their controls. Weapons are offline. One shouted. Navigation frozen, another cried. The commander of the ship slammed his fist down. Reboot the core now. But the core refused to obey. It obeyed her. In the interrogation chamber, the woman stood free. Her chains lay broken on the floor, sparks still flickering around them. The interrogator stared at her in disbelief, unable to move, his claws trembling. "Youth, this is not possible," he whispered. She stepped closer, calm, steady, unstoppable. "It is not only possible, it is already done." The walls around them pulsed with light, as if responding to her words. Doors hissed open in the distance, then slammed shut again like the ship was breathing. The guards who had once sneered now stood frozen, their weapons powerless, their courage gone. Then it began. Airlocks across the ship opened without warning. The sound of rushing wind echoed through the halls as soldiers screamed, dragged into the void. In engineering, coolant systems burst, filling the air with choking mist. On the bridge, targeting systems turned inward, aiming at their own escort ships. Panic spread faster than fire. The aliens screamed orders, but every system they trusted had turned traitor. They struck at panels, tried to shut down controls, but the panels sparked in their faces. Every command they gave was answered with silence, or worse, betrayal. The interrogator tried to regain control. "You cannot do this alone. One human cannot defeat a warship." She looked at him, calm and fearless. "One human cannot, but one commander can." As if on cue, the ship's viewports lit up. Outside, shadows moved in the darkness of space. Dozens of human warships uncloaked, their hulls sharp and silent, like predators circling their prey. The aliens on the bridge gasped. "Human fleet here." The commander's voice broke into a roar. "How did they find us?" The prisoner know. The commander smiled faintly. "They did not find me. I called them." The truth hit like thunder. Flickers of the ship, the strange malfunctions, it had not been sabotage from outside. It was her, using hidden implants, a link buried in her body, a connection to her fleet. Every second they thought she was weak, she had been signaling, guiding, preparing. On the bridge, fear turned to despair. Surrounded by enemies, betrayed by their own ship, the alien crew realized the trap. They had not captured prey. It invited a predator into their heart. The commander's voice carried through the ship now, echoing from every speaker, calm and steady like the voice of judgment itself. "You thought I was your prisoner. You thought I was weak. But weakness is not what humans bring to war. We bring patience. We bring will, and when the time is right, we strike." The human fleet outside armed their weapons. The alien warship shook as its own cannons shifted, targeting its allies. Soldiers screamed, officers begged for orders, but no command could save them. The interrogator's voice cracked as he stepped back. You will kill us all." She met his gaze without mercy. "I will let your own pride kill you. You've built this ship to be invincible now. It is your prison, the floor beneath." Them shook violently as the ship's cannons fired, tearing through space not at humans, but at its own escort ships. Explosions lit the void, alien hulls breaking apart like glass. The crew panicked, clawing at controls, fighting to regain power. But the more they struggled, the deeper the ship obeyed her instead. It was not their warship anymore. It was hers. The interrogator fell to his knees, his voice breaking. "What are you?" Her answer was simple. Final. "I am the commander of humanity. And this is the turning point." The chamber shuddered again as explosions thundered outside. One by one, alien ships burned. Human vessels closed in, their guns ready, their resolve unshaken. The woman, once a prisoner, stood tall in the heart of her enemy's greatest weapon. She was no longer waiting. She was leading. And for the first time, the aliens realized the truth. Humanity was not weak. Humanity was not prey. Humanity had just begun to fight. The alien warship burned from within. Panels sparked. Engines coughed. Weapons twisted against their own fleet. Outside, the void was alive with fire as human ships circled, their cannons glowing, their formation unbroken. But the real battle was not in space. It was inside hearts and minds. On the alien bridge, fear spread like poison. Officers shouted over one another, claws slamming controls that no longer obeyed. Soldiers barked orders, but their voices cracked with panic. Some whispered what none dared to admit. They had lost before the first shot was fired. And at the center of it all, the human commander stood. Her boots echoed against the trembling floor as she stepped onto the alien bridge. Guards tried to block her path, but their rifles died in their hands, drained of power. Doors slid open for her, as if the ship itself bowed to her will. The alien commander snarled, rising from his throne. His armor gleamed, but his eyes betrayed fear. "You cannot win," he spat. "You are only one human. One body, one voice. You cannot stand against an empire." She stopped before him, calm and steady. Her eyes held no fear, only the weight of truth. "One voice," she said softly, "is enough to lead millions." The alien commander laughed bitterly. "Your kind is fragile, weak. We crush your worlds. We erase your fleets. You are dust under our boots." Her reply was calm, but each word struck harder than any weapon. "Maybe we break, maybe we bleed, but we rise again. Always. That is why you will never defeat us." Silence fell across the bridge. Even the alarms seemed too quiet, as though the ship itself paused to listen. She took another step forward. "You think strength is only in numbers? You think power is only in weapons? But real strength lives here." She pressed a hand to her chest. "In will. In the choice to keep fighting, even when all hope is gone. That is what it means to be human." The crew stared, shaken. For years they had believed humans were prey, soft and easy to crush. But this woman stood in chains once, and now commanded their ship. She did not just fight with weapons. She fought with something they could not understand, something they feared. On the screens, the human fleet spread out in perfect formation. Dozens of ships moved as one, silent, steady, patient, no panic, no chaos. Just unity. The alien commander's voice faltered. "Even if you win here, the Empire will come. It will crush your species once and for all." Her eyes did not waver. "Then let them come. They will learn the same lesson you are learning now. Humanity is not weak. Humanity endures." At that moment, her fleet opened fire. Blue light streaked across the void, slamming into alien vessels. Explosions bloomed like stars. Alien warships scattered, their formation broken, their discipline gone. But the human fleet held firm, every ship covering another, every captain moving like a piece of a greater whole. They were outnumbered, outgunned, yet they did not break. The alien crew on the bridge watched in horror. "They should be afraid," one whispered. "Why are they not afraid?" The commander answered without turning her head. "Because we have already faced extinction. We have already lived through fear. There is nothing left you can take from us. And when a species has nothing left to lose, it becomes unstoppable." Her words hung in the air like judgment. The alien commander stumbled back, his claws shaking. He looked around his bridge, the broken panels, the flickering lights, the terrified crew, and, for the first time, he understood. They had not captured a human. They had captured the spirit of her entire species, and now it stood before him unbroken. She raised her hand. The alien warship groaned, its own cannons twisting outward, targeting its allies. Her voice echoed through every hall, every speaker, every heart. "This is human strength, not muscle, not metal. Will." Outside, the alien fleet fractured. Some ships fled. Others fired blindly, hitting their own allies in panic. But the human fleet advanced like a storm, steady and merciless. The commander's final words silenced even the alarms. "You called us fragile, called us weak. But remember this. Fragile things survive storms by bending, not breaking. And when the storm passes, fragile things still remain. The bridge shook as another alien ship exploded outside, fire spreading across the void. The war was turning. Humanity was no longer prey. They were the hunters. The void burned with fire. Alien warships cracked apart, their broken hulls drifting like corpses through the stars. Flames stretched across the darkness, glowing against the endless night. Human ships advanced in silence, their formation perfect, their guns merciless. But inside the alien flagship, silence was louder than the war outside. The crew no longer shouted. They no longer fought. They only stared at the human commander who now stood in the center of their bridge. She had been their prisoner. Now, she was their ruler. The interrogator knelt on the floor, his claws shaking. His voice was barely a whisper. Why? Why did we ever think you were weak? She looked down at him, her face calm, her eyes steady. Because you never understood what strength truly is. The ship groaned again, its own cannons reloading, targeting the last of its allies. The aliens begged their systems to stop, but nothing obeyed. Their pride, their weapon, their fortress, it was no longer theirs. It was hers. The alien commander tried one last act of defiance, staggered to his throne, his voice shaking but still proud. You cannot hold this forever, even if you win. Here, the Empire will come. They are endless. They will erase you. Her answer was quiet, but it carried like a blade through the silence. Then let them come. They will learn, as you did, that humanity cannot be erased. She raised her hand, and the ship answered. Massive cannons roared to life, their power, shaking the entire vessel. The crew clutched the rails as their own guns fired, not at humans, but at the last alien warships struggling to retreat. Blinding light cut across space. The escorts exploded one by one, fire swallowing them whole. The human fleet did not celebrate. They did not cheer. They only moved closer, circling the flagship, silent and steady. The alien commander fell to his knees, his strength broken. Around him, his officers lowered their heads in despair. There was no fight left in them, only fear. The commander of humanity looked across the ruined bridge. Her voice was calm, almost soft, but it carried the weight of judgment. Remember this moment. You thought you captured a weak human. Instead, you delivered me to the heart of your pride, and now your pride is gone. The interrogator whispered, almost pleading. What will you do with us? Her eyes narrowed. For a long moment, she said nothing. The silence was heavier than her words. Then finally, you will live. To tell the story. Gasps echoed across the bridge. They had expected death, but she gave them something worse. Memory. The shame. Of defeat, the fear of humanity. She turned away, her presence filling the bridge like a shadow. This war is not over. This is only the first lesson. Outside, the human fleet parted, leaving a path. The captured flagship once the Empire's. Pride now drifted under her control. She did not destroy it. She kept it. A trophy. A warning. The aliens watched in silence as their once mighty ship followed the humans into the void. And for the first time, they understood. Humanity was not just fighting for survival. Humanity was rising, yet in the far darkness, beyond even. The fire and the stars, something stirred. A shadow greater than fleets, a silence deeper than war. Other eyes were watching, waiting. The commander paused as if she felt it too. Her gaze lingered on the black horizon, where no light reached. A whisper escaped her lips, too soft for the aliens to hear. They will come. And with that, the human fleet vanished into the stars, leaving wreckage behind, fear that would echo across the galaxy.